The Ashes are over, and it makes for yet more miserable viewing for England this lunchtime, with Australia sealing a 4-0 series victory with 2 days to spare in Hobart. In a series of batting collapses, perhaps it was fitting to finish with another, with England losing 9 wickets in the final session and 10 for just 56 runs. Chasing 271, England collapsed from 68 for naught to 124 all out in just 23 overs. And the day had started so well, with Mark Wood taking a career best 6 for 37, as Australia were all out for 155. England then recorded their highest opening stand of the series before yet another collapse saw them all out for 124. Take a look at some more stats, and it makes for some pretty awful reading from an England point of view. Defeat here means it is now just 1 win in 14 tests. That came against India at Headingley in August. England lost 10 wickets for 58 runs today, and that's their worst collapse in Ashes cricket since 1948. The whole series saw England average only 20.2 with the bat per wicket, and you have to go all the way back to 1890 for it to be lower. It's now 15 tests without a win in Australia, following 2 4-0 defeats and a 5-0 clean sweep. By the time they return to Australia in 2025, it will be 14 years since their last success in an away Ashes test. Well, let's get some reaction to this now. We can speak live to former England batsman Jonathan Trott. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. A 4-0 series defeat. Did you expect such a humiliation?
Certainly not. I think it's obviously a disappointing day for all concerned out there in Australia and all supporters of English cricket. So it is a tough moment. I think it's going to take a little bit of reflection and with regards to what they're going to do in the future with regards to the series coming up in the Caribbean. So I'm not sure any knee-jerk reaction or anything like that is going to happen right now, but the boys will be hurting, and everybody else, I'm sure, who watched today or watched the Ashes will be very disappointed.
Yeah, yet another batting collapse in the final test. What do you think has gone so badly wrong in that particular department?
I think the combination of not perhaps having enough preparation going into the series and having a bit of a snowball effect starting at the Gabba and onwards from there, I think. And Australia as well have played well. I think sometimes you've got to give credit to the Australian bowling attack, or the side in this case. But it's a fact of allowing the Australians to have bowled as well as they've done. It's about the ability to put pressure back as a batsman on the opposition and making sure you're there and ready to take advantage of any mistake they've made. I think that's been the case. We haven't batted for long periods of time in a pair or partnership. I think you'd have to go back to Joe Root and Darwin Milan early on in the series for the highest partnership at the Gabba, I think it was. And no batsman going on, and I don't think any batsman got 100 either. So that's very disappointing, and what are notoriously decent wickets to bat on in Australia.
I mean, obviously, there have been difficult situations surrounding the pandemic, etc. But another big problem has been continually chopping and changing the team.
Well, that's what happens. I think you don't really change a winning side, do you? You have that consistency in selection, and the players have confidence in their position, or they feel secure in their position. When there's losses, or when you lose badly continuously, or back-to-back games, then you're always going to try and chop and change and find the right combination until you eventually come out of it. And that's what the England coaches and manager, Chris Silverwood, has tried to do. And that's only right, and that's only what you want to do. You want to find a way of winning a test match and getting a bit of momentum going your way. It just hasn't happened for England for whatever reason. And nobody will be hurting more than those guys in the change room, certainly the coaches and the players.
I appreciate you say it's not the time for knee-jerk reactions, but previous Ashes humiliations have led to captains and coaches losing their roles. Where do you see Root and Silverwood in this current setup now?
Well, I said before, and I think when the Ashes, after the third test and the Ashes were lost, I don't know how they're feeling about their positions or what the situation is with regards to what I was just thinking. That a lot of things have got to be, thought about and discussed. And the test side, yes, unfortunately hasn't played well, but the one-day side is. And so you've got to remember the situation we find ourselves in with COVID and basically operating two squads, if you like. It's not in normal terms. I think that's the one thing I'd say under Chris Silverwood's tenure is he's always had the COVID problem to worry about with your players and getting the right balance between rotation and players and the schedule. So it hasn't been as straightforward as you might think. And that is the same for Joe Root. So there's, I'd say, very much different circumstances and a situation that's been very different to has been in the past when you're comparing it to what you say, Ashes series. So they're just going to sit down, and it's a decision for Ashley Giles and all three of them, really, to come up with the right answer.
And is there, Jonathan, a wider issue, perhaps, here? A lot of talk of a neglect of the longer format and the shorter forms of the game taking precedence. Do you think that could be part of the problem here? And what can be done about that going forward?
I would say that is the major and the most important thing that has changed, I would say. I think it's a case of players then becoming more adapted to playing four-day cricket, batting for longer periods of time. If you play four-day cricket in April and May and then at the end of September, the message you're sending to the players is with regards to the importance of it. We're going to play that and try and get it out of the way. And our most profitable and most viewed time is white ball cricket. Then the message you're sending and the importance you're sending to younger players wanting to develop their skill to play Test cricket is probably not right. I think you want to give it the same amount of importance as one-day cricket and the 100. But also the players then learn different skills and learn to bat on better wickets, which is more similar to Test cricket, bat for longer periods of time and develop the skills needed to be able to play Test match cricket and sustain and be able to handle sort of constrained pressure that you find in Test cricket. I think that is the main thing that needs to be addressed and changed, and get the balance between white ball cricket and red ball cricket back in the county structure, and so that you're creating cricketers for England that can play in both formats. We got some very talented players in England. It's just about getting the right amount of cricket in and focus on four-day cricket. I'm not saying we need to neglect one-day cricket, because we've seen how successful that's been over the last few years and how exciting the white ball England side is. It's about getting the right balance and players being ambitious and getting the skills to be able to play all formats of the game.
Jonathan, thanks very much. Great to get your thoughts.